Thank you.
I think people are focusing on the wrong thing. I mean, like
Yeah,
the
for,
addiction issues.
for
I mean,
sure.
that is a really important thing around here. Of course, being in rural, you know,
Yep.
America.
Yeah, I grew up in a family that there were different kinds of addiction issues like for different family members and also grew up rural. So like yeah, the heart of the book is I know that people tend to super focus on like the transness of it because that's like the red flag that people tend to identify as something that they would like to ban. But the heart of the book is really about like trying to find your way like in a difficult story in a difficult setting, and try to find your footing of like who you are as a person as opposed to purely like queer identity. Yeah, yeah. Amazingly, we are all so multi-layered people.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Um, yeah, then we'll get into the book banning. Then we'll cover, some of your other stuff that you've written. Um,
Absolutely.
and we'll get you into, what we've been doing here.
Yep.
Okay. So, like I said, I've already started recording, but I'm editing this all out, and we'll go here. What's
That
going
makes
on,
total sense.
Snow?
How's it going, MJ?
Yeah, we've been fighting the good fight all week long.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
mostly me, but
Starting good trouble.
yeah. So, let's get right to the bottom of it and what started all this. We have author Alder Van Otterloo. Did I say that right?
You did. You nailed it.
All right, cool. Welcome to the
Yay.
show.
Welcome. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm so happy to be here.
Your book is amazing.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and we'll get into that. But first, let's start off. Let's get a little background on you.
Sure. Well, let's see. I was born in North Carolina. And I was raised in Alabama, Georgia, and then I spent a long time in Tennessee also. So my background is like southeastern US. My accent is kind of mostly ironed out. But that's where I grew up. Grew up loving being in the mountains. That's like reflected in my work a lot. I have a big love of small town culture. So yeah, I've been writing children's books for since about 2020 or a little bit before 2020. And yeah, The Beautiful Something Else is my third book. Actually, I have two others that are in Appalachian settings. So yeah, I live in the Pacific Northwest now. And I've lived here for like maybe 6 years. Yeah, so I really enjoy being an author, really enjoy putting together books that are kind of fantastical. One of my favorites is one with witches and zombies, and so it's very Halloween vibes.
Oh, cool. When did you just discover you wanted to be an author?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think I've been writing like in some way, shape, or form, like as self-expression since I was a kid. But I'm really heavy on the ADHD, so nailing myself down and getting myself to write long form took a while. I think it was probably I was about 32, so I kind of got a late start as an author. I was about 32 and I realized I wanted to start writing books, specifically in the vein of like books for kids because they meant so much to me when I was a kid. Yeah, so I just kind of went at it and had a lot of encouragement from community and friends who also write. And eventually we got one that got picked up. So that was very exciting.
Very cool. Yeah,
Cool.
you have a great style to your writing where you do capture like the feelings of teenagers. I mean, like
Mhm.
Sparrow, you it was a really good description of her feelings and her anxiety and everything that
Mhm.
comes on with, being that age.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it feels like sometimes it feels like forever, like ages since I was that age, and sometimes it feels like yesterday. And I think a lot of people share that experience, right? And because as an adult, like it feels like it's been a light age. But then something happens and it brings up all these feelings, and it's so easy to be like, oh yeah, I remember what it was like to be 13. Yeah, so definitely a lot of that went into the book. Um, just feelings of like around identity and feeling like insecure. It's such a wonderful and not so favorite time of life for so many people, I think.
You got that right.
Yeah, you couldn't pay me enough to be 13 again.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you there.
The teen years are rough.
They
Um,
are. They can be. They can be.
let's get into the book that caused all this kerfuffle. The beautiful something else. What talk about what the book's about, if you could.
Sure. Okay, so mainly the book is about a kid who has learned to navigate like their parents a parent who has like some their own like kind of baggage and trauma and mental health issues that are being self-medicated through like a prescription drug abuse problem, which is, I mean, so super common in a lot of rural areas. It's a thing that a lot of people deal with, and in order to keep Sparrow's mom feeling on the level and kind of proud and respectable, Sparrow has decided, I'm going to be the perfect student. I'm going to be the perfect daughter. I'm going to do everything right. To kind of prop your image up and to help you feel better and to kind of also keep our little tiny family together, right? Which is an experience I think a lot of kids have whose parents are dealing with like mental health issues or addiction, right? It's easy to be kind of parentified and put a lot of pressure on yourself, to be kind of like really straight A, type A. Don't worry, I got this. Which is an experience I think a lot of kids share or adults can remember having. Yeah. So eventually Sparrow's mom kind of falls off the horse, which is a thing that happens, and when people are dealing with addiction, it's a thing that happens. So Sparrow ends up going and living with an estranged aunt, who is trans. And the aunt is a professor who also owns kind of like a communal garden situation where they do like community garden education, which is something I loved about my time that I spent in rural Tennessee, is community gardens and people coming together and being like, we're gonna make friendships and also we're gonna learn how to grow peas, right? Let's do it. And so Sparrow has the opportunity to take like a lot of chances on making mistakes, stretching and learning how to have like real friendships that aren't just like, I'm going to be competitive and beat you out for a role in a play. I'm going to be really your friend and learn what it means to be honest and have some character around that, and makes a lot of mistakes in the process. It's including kind of having a moment where they forget to turn off the communal garden hose and flood the garden out overnight. Um, which is, these are the kind of mistakes I remember making like as a kid, right? And I thought it would be nice to give this character a context where they could be met with like accountability, but also like communal support where people are not like, well, you've ruined my life. You've made me look bad. They're like, hey, can we talk about what was going on with you when you left the garden hose on? What can we learn from this, right? Yeah, so it's kind of a story about someone who's feeling unmet going to a community where they're like, hey, I don't know if you're a fan or have ever watched The Magic School Bus. It's a very Miss Frizzle mentality. Get messy, make mistakes. This is how we learn things. This is how we grow, right? Yeah, so that's kind of the heart of the story. And wrapped up in that also is Sparrow like discovering things about their own, like things that they already knew about themselves, really, about like their gender expression and identity that they've kind of covered over because covering it over is part and parcel of playing that character of perfect kid that will kind of cover for my parents' addiction, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
I took away from it how I was because I have a non-binary child, and
Hmm.
looking back, it made me reflect on, oh, that was probably what was going on in their heads at the time, where
Yeah,
I
sure.
didn't have that point of view before.
Right. Yeah. I definitely have memories of oh, I used to love my grandparents lived in a small town in Killen, Alabama. And they used to do the incredibly generous thing of letting me go raid their closet and play dress up in their closet. And I remember both absolutely loving my Mimi's clothes and loving my Papa's work clothes. He was he worked in an aluminum plant. And I loved his boots and I really enjoyed my grandmother's like the red blazers. And I was like, wow, this is different. So I loved going and doing that and kind of looking in the mirror and being like, yeah, this feels better. This feels good, right? Um, yeah, and it's such a wild map to try to explore yourself when you don't have people around you who are like, oh yeah, that's totally a thing. You're allowed to do that, right? That's fine. Whereas like if you're cis and of course we have all these moments of like your aunt being like, yeah, let me help you with lipstick, let me help you curl your hair, your grandma being like, here's a string of pearls, right? We have all these little identity pieces that get passed on to us. They're not sexualized, they're just like gender identity pieces that we receive from our community, right? Boys have the same thing, right? So having to sort of piecemeal it together and figure yourself out when you're like, yeah, I'm not either, or maybe both, or something else, right? Um, it's nice to be able to be around people who you see them and you're like, oh, I could do that. That's allowed. Cool, cool. Yeah, so it was important to me to kind of weave that into, and even like the confusing bits of it, because trying to do that unsupported or without examples to kind of explore from, it ends up feeling like a bittersweet angst that you can't really put words to. So being able to, as an adult, put words to what I was feeling when I was younger, it was an incredibly affirming piece, not just to be able to give to other people, but also a piece to give to like my inner self, right? That piece that didn't quite get met when it was younger. Yeah.
So it was kind of therapeutic to yourself to write.
Yeah, a little bit. I would say like I've done a lot of work like in myself and community and like kind of forming that identity for myself before writing the book, but it was fun to be able to go back and be like, and this is what it could have looked like had I been able to do it at a younger age, right? This is what it could have been like. In a very safe context and a very met context, right? Where someone's like, oh yeah, you can get your hair cut that way. That's fine. Let's do it. It's good. No big deal. It's just a trip to the hair salon, right? Yeah, so it was both important to me to kind of portray it as eventful, but also non-eventful, right? Because it really is just a haircut, like everybody else is getting haircuts. So to
Mhm.
be able to normalize that was a really cool gift to be able to put on page. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have anything right now?
I'm enjoying listening and learning. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's talk a little bit of the introduction to the book because I thought
Sure.
the introduction was great on it and how it's important to talk to somebody if you have questions about what materials in this book
Hmm.
on it. And if if you need to step away and take a break for your own, and think
Yeah.
about it, I think that's a really. I thought that was a really important message. You want to elaborate a little
Yeah.
bit?
Well, I think I was remembering a little bit what it was like to be my age. Like there is a lot of similarity between me and Sparrow. Like if I start a book, gosh darn it, I'm gonna finish this book, right? It's a little bit that the gold star thing. It's like, you can do that. But you also can kind of like self-empower and self-permission yourself to take care of yourself emotionally. So, right, in the same way that like we remind each other not to doom scroll, or we remind each other to not like go super like if somebody was sitting down and watching like a movie with a lot of graphic as an adult, like a movie with a lot of graphic violence, like we don't have to watch the whole thing. Not that the book is graphically violent, but you know what I mean. Like as an emotional care piece, you don't have to do something in one go. It's totally okay to like be like, okay. I've digested enough for now. I'm just going to put this aside until I'm ready to pick it back up again. I think that is very important for agency and self-empowerment.
Especially with the news these days. There's times where I'm just like, all right, just
Right.
calm
It's a
down,
lot.
step away from this.
It's a lot. Yeah. Yeah,
I like
100%.
I liked that you said that too, because I could totally agree. I just read a book on codependency a while ago. There
Yeah.
were several times when I had to I was like, whoa, this is a lot. And just
Right.
like, and you have to reflect with yourself, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm taking a break. Maybe go eat something and I'll get back
Yeah.
to this.
Heck yeah, yeah. And it's not like I'm gonna put my head in the sand. It's like I'm gonna give myself time to properly digest this, right?
Exactly.
Uh,
Exactly.
right, right. It's like just like you wouldn't eat an entire side of beef in one go. Like your stomach's not good for that. Give yourself time.
Exactly.
That's true. Um, I've got one of our friends here just walked in. His name is Aaron. He's a reporter for the local paper, and
Oh, cool.
freelance. Yeah.
Very cool. I saw somebody got waved at.
Oh, yeah.
So when you do take a break and doing a little research on you, you like to get out in nature.
I
Uh,
do. I do.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
enormous part of my it's such a big part of my life. My granddad owned well one of my grandparents grew up kind of like they were in the wooded area. One of them grew up on a creek and then moved to a cattle farm. So I spent an immense amount of time outside as a kid. And I still am just constantly outside. It's important to me. Yeah. If find me in the woods or on the water somewhere.
are you like you said you're in the Pacific Northwest? Are you coastal? Are you up in like the mountains?
No, but I am in driving distance. That's the cool thing about here is like I am near the water. But also like it's not a far trek to the mountains, and pretty much everywhere you go there's like forests. I was so impressed when I got to the forest here. Like I'm used to southern forests and there's a lot of undergrowth. There's a lot of bramble. There's a lot of like low-lying brush in the forests, like the alpine forest here with so much space in between the trees is like, yeah, I feel like I've walked into a fairy tale. That's wild. There's not a lot of kudzu.
Oh, cool.
Um, in the book, there's a lot of Sparrow is really interested in science and animals. Is that your background too?
Oh my goodness. I wish it's been a lifelong like fascination of mine and kind of like a hobby, like picking up animal facts. I have a couple of friends who like they bring me like little tidbits of animal facts that I probably don't know. Like a cat brings a mouse to people like a little gift. One of them
Yeah.
last night was like, "Did you know that there's a kind of fish that uses it eats algae and then it collects like basically like farts inside its body and it causes it to rise up to the top of the surface and that's where the predators are so they literally have to like fart for their life to get to a lower part of the water to keep from being eaten. I was like, yeah, that's a good animal fact. That's a good animal fact. Thank you. So yeah, I'm a big David Attenborough fan.
Has this book caused controversy anywhere else, or is this just here so far?
Oh goodness. It's caused a little controversy in my own family. My dad is not a fan. Um but like it's elsewhere, no, not thus far. So that's good. I guess for me it's like gender is a part of the book. And I very purposefully wrote like queer community because I mean queer community exists everywhere, like in the South, in rural places. And it looks different. That's something that it was important to me to depict was the fact that it really looks different because, rural living is different than living in a city, right? So just like all community looks different in different places, it plays out differently for queer people too. So like it was important to me to have somebody in bib overalls as opposed to, like what stereotypes people might picture like queer people living in New York. Well, someone living in New York is very different than someone living in Kentucky. But there's like a wide range of people everywhere you go. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I strayed from the question.
No, 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 I'm doing great. Here, you can imagine the type of area we live in and how why this book would be, controversial. Um,
Mhm.
we're lucky here though because all of us like-minded friends, we just somehow find each other. We
Yeah.
don't know how it happens; it just happens,
Yep.
and you need
Yep.
that because the major. Well, I'm a preface this. Politically, it's very conservative, but
Mhm.
they did a poll in our local paper, and 93% of people agree that your book and the other ones should stay on the shelves, which is
Yeah.
amazing, given
Yeah.
it's 70% conservative.
Mhm.
Yeah. Agree. You know, I here's something interesting to me. Like I growing up rural and in small towns and having family who lived in small towns, like I have a yes, I have a unique perspective on um like people's preconceived notions about like, okay, this the color of this county is blah blah blah, right? Okay, sure. It's red, it's blue. I know that there is so much nuance within small communities. Like, I've heard, for instance, like my grandfather lived in Alabama and he was a big union guy, right? Like, or like people are nuanced. People can be critical thinkers and incredibly compassionate toward one another can be like I have met so many people who would probably have described themselves as conservative, but they have like queer grandchildren who they are incredibly supportive of, right? Or they just like freedom of speech and noticing that like claims are being exaggerated is important to them, and I don't think that that falls neatly. That's a human thing. That's not like an idea. That's not like a political leaning thing. That's a human thing. So like it makes me really happy to hear that. Like when you say that, it makes me happy to hear it. And also I'm not like entirely surprised, right? Like my experience with people is that most of them most of them like when met with another human being who's trying to explain something to them about this is my experience, this is what it feels like to be me, are compassionate, right? And I think that gets left out of I think that gets left out of the stories that we tell each other about the world often, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, people are complex. People are complex and community matters. So that it makes me really happy to hear that. And it's not surprising to me. Yeah.
Yeah, and the the chairman of the board of supervisors is very conservative, but he is also very supportive of this. And he was getting a little flack on himself for
Hmm.
being supportive of having your book there. And
Yeah,
we spar with him over almost every issue, but on
sure.
this one, I had to send him a personal little message like, thank you for standing up for us.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hell yeah. I have such a, I'm trying to think of how to like put it. I had, I think it's so important to keep lines of communication open with people. I think it's so important to never like write someone off. I think it's important to give people like to say this meant something to me. When you supported me, it meant something to me. That's huge, right? That's being in community. That's community working in the way that it's supposed to, right? Like that's really cool. That's cool to hear.
Um, so tomorrow they're going to have the vote on it. We have no idea how it's going to go. There's a petition that has over 500 signatures in support
Wow.
of keeping the book there. We're going to have a bunch of people going to the meeting and speaking up about not only this, but the other books that are in question. Um, we should give a shout out to Sarah Ferry, our good friend, who without her and somebody notifying her, and she spearheaded the effort here.
Yeah,
Without her, this would have gone quietly under the rug. And I believe that's what they wanted to do. I believe they just wanted to quietly pass this off because who really pays
sure.
attention to a board of supervisors meetings?
Yep.
Kind of boring for the most part. But this
Yeah.
one struck up, and I am so proud of the way our community has stood up
Oh yeah.
and literally been pit bulls on this issue.
Heck yeah.
Not just for you, for all these books.
Heck yeah. That's awesome. That's so cool. Um, Yeah, that's a lot to be proud of, and I think that yeah, it always makes me feel happy when I hear that people are like have a pulse on what's going on in their own community and speak up for themselves and each other. Like I love the pit bull analogy. Yeah, because each other matters. It's important. That's so cool.
What do you do? Is there any groups that have reached out to you to try to advocate for you in the book, and or are you part of like a larger group that?
Sh sure. Like there's like a larger group that's like it's like it's relatively new. It's Authors Against Book Bans. And they have like kind of like a nationwide sort of resource alliance, right? But then they have like local chapters that can like support different authors because people's books get banned for like a plethora of reasons. So like it's nice to be able to be connected with fellow authors and just have like resource for like, okay, how can we talk about this? How can we support each other while this is happening? Because, as an author, it's not like a super pleasant experience. Um, yeah, so that's been really great, and I greatly appreciate the people who put work into like that community and providing support and resource for authors, like in that capacity. So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah, because it's not just a a local issue here. I mean,
Yeah.
this is happening all over the place. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Well, and with anything, the precedent is so important. It's so important because today it's like my book, but like it's freedom of speech and freedom of the press is pretty foundational to like the way that we operate, right? So when that starts like eroding, it's important to pay attention, even if it's not somebody whose experience you can directly relate to. Like when it's flying under the guise of fear mongering, when it's flying under the guise of, like uh well, this is just bothering me. Like a huge talking point for me is like, yes, I understand as a parent, I understand the importance of knowing your own child, thinking about like what books meet their needs. And then there's another layer of like not gatekeeping, but like guidance at a librarian level. Like librarians tend to not guide children to books that are not well matched to them, right? So if you have an 8-year-old reading at an upper level of middle grade, they're probably not going to be like, yeah, read this. They're going to be like, hey, have you checked out Stuart Little, right? So like I think I think it's really important to remember that like we're not just like parents, yes, parents should be able to guide their own children's books, but no, so one small group of parents should not be able to dictate what books my children have at their access, right? That's not how that works. Yes, you should guide your children. No, you should not limit my children's resources. Like as a parent, I feel very parent bear about that part.
Yeah, on that
Yeah.
note, I wish that this book was out 10 years ago. So when my kid was going through this and these feelings, that they would have
Yeah.
be able to find a book that they could relate to and be like, wow, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, heck yeah. I've talked to a lot of adults. I've talked to high schoolers, which my books are not really like that particular book is geared more toward like high school cusp, but not fully high schoolers. But I've had like 18-year-olds come up to me and be like, "Thank you so much for writing this. This is below my reading level, but I read it and it was something that I needed 5 years ago. Thank you. I still got something from it, right? But that's the goal always for me with good fiction is like even if you're writing children's fiction, I mean, we still go back and revisit our favorites and get something from it, right? Like most of us, if we have a favorite book that meant a lot to us, for some people, a lot, I've met a lot of people, it's like Judy Blume or something. Like they go
Mhm.
back still and read it and they're like, nope, I still got something from that. That's
Mhm.
like, that's always the goal for good fiction is to write it in such a way that you could still come back when you're 50 and read it and be like, yeah, it's still good. It still hits.
Yeah. Aaron, did you have a question?
I did like when you started writing this, I'm a writer, whether I'm doing like news or freelance or whatever, sitting
Yep.
at a typewriter till 3 in the morning with
Oh
the
goodness.
listener.
Yep.
Did you have any idea that this might be a firecracker? Like this
hmm
might piss people off?
Yeah. I mean, like I was raised in the rural South by conservative people. And some of them were like very conservative people. My dad was an evangelical pastor. So like my life is a firecracker. My experience of my own life is kind of like the firecracker effect. So like and there hit a point where I was like, I just need to write what's on my heart and whatever however it's met is how it's met. But like this is the book that I needed when I was young, so I'm gonna write it, right? I'm not gonna limit myself to uh like a lack of friction. Yeah, so I kind of yes, but like that's just my life.
And let's just backtrack for a minute. Like you mentioned, librarians matching books to kids' needs. Librarians already have a system in place on
Yeah.
what's appropriate and what's not appropriate.
Yeah, they do. They do. Well, and I librarians are special people. They just really are. I have yet to meet a children's librarian who is not like incredibly nerdy, not incredibly insightful and principled and thoughtful and truly caring people just in general. So it brings them a lot of joy to have a kid come in and be like, "Hi, I really like books about cars and like maybe a crush is okay, but I don't want there to be any hand holding. Like libraries, they're like, I got you. I have a whole list, right? Or what have you, or just interest-based books. Like I really am not so interested in anything scary at all, but like I like action. They're so good at being able to match children to like what they developmentally need right then. And most of them have a degree in it, right? It's like it's an art form. It's an art form, and they're good at what they do. I trust them.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. Um, so hoping everything goes good tomorrow. Let's get to some of your other books and what are the themes behind those.
Oh
What do you
goodness,
think?
sure. Okay, so Cattywampus is a book about it actually happened because there was an agent who said, "Man, I love witch books." And like witch themed books. I think they were hopping off of like people having read Harry Potter and wanting more like magic books. And they were like, you know what there aren't any of is like Appalachian magic. Like show me the people who like live in the mountains and don't have access to like a castle, right? Um and so that's kind of what Cattywampus is about. It's a book about two kids who are very, very different from each other, who come from rival witch families. They're both forbidden from doing magic. One of them gets a hold of their great grandma's grimoire, and they accidentally do a spell that raises like the whole witch cemetery of zombies, and then they all start feuding together. So they have to figure out how to like cooperate and work together to do the counter curse so that their community doesn't get ripped apart by zombies. Um, so it's a very elaborate get along shirt. So that one is Cattywampus, and the other one is about a kid who's a peacekeeper in their family who has the ability to like see ghosts connected to objects, and they kind of uncover um they uncover like a thing that there's a man who's trying to come in and like buy out basically their mountain community for mountaintop removal, which is like a form of mining that's it's destroyed over 500 mountains in the Appalachian region. But also like unfortunately poisoned like small town communities in Appalachia too, because like the water rundown and the heavy metals create a lot of problems for people health wise. So like that, it's like a ghost story and also kind of a go ecology. I love the Appalachian Mountains so much. It hurts book. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
You get a
Yeah.
chance to travel back there often?
Oh gosh, it's on the docket. I need to. It's been a couple of years since I've been back and I miss it. Like the Blue Ridge Mountains are the Smokies are they're home.
It's a
They're home in a
beautiful,
big way.
Mhm.
beautiful area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from Vermont, and I'm going back in a few weeks. And
Oh
living
wow.
in the middle of the desert,
Yeah.
I mean, it will be all like
Trees.
white outside here, but
Yeah, it's a different kind of beautiful, right? Yeah, it's a different kind of beautiful.
oh man, it's different cult kind of people too around. It,
Yeah,
it gets tough being as you probably know, growing up in the South. It gets heavy being in a heavily conservative area, and it just but when you get to a different region where it just seems like it's a different vibe from people.
yeah. 100%. 100%. When I first moved to the Pacific Northwest, I I noticed I was like a really people were a little wary of me because I was so friendly. Because in the South, like even if you don't like somebody, you're still friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a bit of a culture shock for sure.
All right. Where can people find your books?
Okay, so you could find them on bookshop.org is a great place. Here's the thing that people don't know about books is that a lot of bookstores, like even if you don't have like a local like brick and mortar bookstore, if the nearest one will ship books to you. Like you can just order from most places, like any bookstore online, and they'll find the book and ship it to you, which is really nice. And of course, it's available at like I think it's at Target and Amazon, all the other big book selling places. Yeah, but I'm a big fan of indie booksellers. I love a bookstore. I love a bookshop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can order like 50 copies of it and put in those mini libraries all over by the high school.
I mean, heck yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Hey, I mean, it's an important issue. A lot of ways, ban books is, you know, censorship, First
Mhm.
Amendment rights,
Yep.
um, the, the the trans issue on it.
Mhm.
And yeah, I would encourage people to go to their local bookstore to get it rather than avoid Amazon and giving that guy money.
We're gonna
Yeah,
be,
I don't have a
we've
bookstore.
got places here
Yeah,
who
yeah,
are
no,
going to carry it, right?
we'll talk off the air about that.
Yeah.
yeah, that's very cool. I'm a big fan of. I love supporting local business. That is the small town kid in me. I love a local business, and I hate to see one go out of business. So yeah, anytime you can, I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I used to live right across the street from Barnes and Noble, and
Oh my goodness, yeah.
it's just like a lost art of just being able to go in there, just pick up a book. What's this about?
Yep.
Everything else, then it's a lot healthier than just doom scrolling on your phone.
Yep. You can't beat the smell of a bookstore.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can I give a shout out to Powell's bookstore in Portland?
Heck yeah. I love Powell's. That Powell's is an experience. It's an adventure for sure.
Never been, never been up in that area. Well,
Gonna
thank
have to go.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah, road trip after Vermont.
yeah. Well, I think we'll wrap this up. We still want to talk to you for a couple minutes off the air. But yeah, we'll keep in touch. I'll keep you posted on, what's going to happen tomorrow. And if you have any other projects, we would definitely love to have you on again.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. And so much love to you and your community. Like you guys are amazing showing up for each other that way. That's
Oh, speaking of that,
Oh,
Snow, you have a message. This message is from Willow. Willow was on the original board of Mojave Pride, and in 2019 we had our first Pride Festival, And that weekend, 12,000 people showed up over 2 days.
Wow,
It's
that's
living,
wonderful.
um, I was really bitter about this area being that conservative because I didn't come from that kind of area. But seeing that many people come up and show support for the community,
Yep.
I was just amazed. It was one of the best weekends I've ever had in
They
Cleveland.
came out from Havasu, Bullhead. They came from like, people from Vegas, like
Flagstaff.
Kingman, Arizona. You're having a Pride Festival.
Yeah.
We're doing it. Yeah.
This is a message that Willow wanted to give you because she couldn't make it today.
We would love for you to know that in so many different and beautiful ways, your book represents our family. My partner and I are both non binary, and my partner lived the very real experience of their parent going into rehab. My kids' first set of babysitters were drag queens. They were our rainbow house. That book has the power to make kids and families not feel alone in their world. I hope that they continue writing, continue sharing, and know that they are doing really, really important work.
Oh, thank you so much, Willow. That's wonderful to hear. That is giving me the feels. Thank you. Thanks.
I
And
think
thank you
we could
for the
wrap this.
and right back at you.
I think that'd be a good way to wrap this up. So stay tuned, and we'll end the recording part of this. Okay, so
Okay.
all right,
Bye, y'all.
thank you, and see ya.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Okay. Oh, if I still hear you through
Yeah.
this. Okay. I'm doing. I have a video and an audio
Yeah.
feed.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
So, all right. Where can we get like say 20 copies of this book? Because we have West the Third was the Sarah Ferris place, wants to
Mhm.
stock it. Willow's shop, she wants a tattoo place, Feral Tattoo.
Oh,
She
that's
wants some
so
copies.
cool.
And there's going to be a bookstore opening up that's going to have
Fan book
a
fiction.
banned book section, and they're going to be
Wow, that's fantastic. I love that. Um, okay, so the one place is a tattoo store or a tattoo shop. Is the first place that you mentioned a bookstore? Like, do they do book orders often?
I think Sarah
She's a what it her business is considered like it's a little store. She has all kinds of stuff in there, but it's fair trade.
I
Like,
gotcha.
yeah,
I gotcha.
it's one of those type stores.
Um, that is a good question, and I might need to ask some people and get back to you on that. Like most of the people that I've talked to, the way it usually works is that like bookstores, like brick and mortar bookstores, order from like distributors. So they can either order from like Scholastic itself as a distributor, or there are like other ones like there are like warehouses basically. And
Okay.
then you send an order and then they send you inventory. So it's like a whole it's like a whole system that they have set up that I am not any part of. So let me I've never thought of it. Let me ask for about a couple of people that I know who stock books in stores that are not bookstores. Um, if she already has books in her bookstore, she might know how she was like if she knows how she got the inventory from there.
I,
Like
I,
she,
Okay.
I was having this conversation with her a couple nights ago, and I believe she
yeah,
have a system.
Okay.
she does have a system.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, good. She's probably more knowledgeable than I am about how to get books into non-bookstores. Because usually it's literally just like you contact a distributor and then the distributor sends you inventory. Because I don't have copies of books here. And you could probably also contact Scholastic and ask them about it specifically. And sometimes like you can get it cheaper from Scholastic, depending on the number of copies you're ordering, than you would from a distributor, just because it's like cutting out a middleman.
Mhm.
So that might be something to do too. Yeah, but I can poke around and see if I can find links about ordering directly from Scholastic. But honestly, your friend probably has done more homework in that than I have.
And I think that
I'm not on the selling end, like not even
Yeah.
vaguely.
and the good thing about this whole controversy is it's focused attention on your book, and is
Mhm.
genuine
Yeah.
interest in people wanting to read it.
There's like a
Sure.
ton of people, like I'm on next door, and they're like they made a huge post about the board of supervisors, so they're already like in the comments. They were like, "Where can I get this book? I want to get this book." Like so
Aw.
many comments like that.
And that's so
So
sweet. That's awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, your friend would probably be able to help you figure out how to get it into like a brick and mortar store better than I could. My favorite go-to is bookshop.org, because bookshop is really cool distribution system. Like, you can go in and pick a bookshop, like a independent bookstore, like pretty much anywhere from the US. So you could pick like the closest one to you, and order through them so that they get like sales commission from the sale.
okay.
Yeah, it's a good system. I'm a fan.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
thank you for taking some time to talk to us,
Thank
and
you so much for being willing to chat. Yeah.
yeah, uh,
Yeah. Thank
I
you.
think it was a great conversation, and eager to get it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a great
We-
book.
And a great book.
thank you all for the work that you're doing in your community. Like truly, just like from a from like a human standpoint, thank you for what you're doing. I appreciate it.
Well, and I know
Yeah.
like the world is on fire right now,
It
and,
is.
Literally.
yeah, and there's nothing we can do about it. But
Yeah.
I feel like on this particular thing, there's something that we can do.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. It's actionable. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Good
Yeah.
point.
Well, we appreciate you. I will keep you posted, and we
Awesome.
would love to have you on again to talk more.
Thank you. I would love to be on again. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
All right. Take
Cool.
care.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.